Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Boink Studios, and check us out on boinkstudios.com, where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this is Tom Clark's Main Event. We're back once again here with another thrilling, action-packed episode of the program. Glad you are with us. This time it's episode number 139. I'm just sitting here hanging out. That's right, folks. I should be doing a number of things right now, including sleeping. As I'm recording this, it's fairly late on a Thursday night, but I'm a bit amped up. So I thought I would just, do a little recording, talk to you good folks for a little bit, see how you're doing. Had a lot of clicking on the keyboard as I always do. Hope that's not too annoying. A man's got to move around his laptop, folks. You see what I'm saying? And it revolves around the laptop, and it includes a little bit of clicking. It must require it, I should say. How's everyone doing out there? Usually, we are live on the Facebook, on Wrestling Rumors Facebook page. We do it every Friday, live 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live, on Wrestling Rumors Facebook Live. And folks, if you are not joining us for that show, then my friends, you are missing out. For those of you who only subscribe to the podcast and listen instead of watching on Facebook, thank you very much for hanging out here as well. I would encourage you to check us out live on Facebook. And if you've only watched us live on Facebook, then I encourage you to subscribe and download the podcast today. It's available on iTunes and Google Play. So please do that. So now that I've finished selling myself, attempting to get you to love me, which is really what all of this is about. This whole podcasting gig is just trying to, make friends and seek acceptance from the masses. It's not really. It's just about, pro wrestling, which I love. You guys know that. Great time to be a fan. You guys know that too. Best time ever to be a fan. For me, the best era ever in the history of pro wrestling was the Territory era. The NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions. I mean, you guys know that's what I grew up on. If you didn't know, now you know. And of course, we've seen some great moments since then. And I feel like the business is really coming full circle right now. So, usually here on the show, and let me get this out of the way real quick. Usually here on the show, it's Tom Clark's Main Event, right? So if you're not down with the program or how we do things, usually I just pick a topic or a couple of topics and I say, this is the main event. This time I just don't have a main event, which is odd. I usually have a subject or subjects. How about this? This time the main event is a cavalcade of pro wrestling stuff. How's about that? Sound good? Sound great. It's just me, like I said, sitting here in my office, hanging out. I've got New Japan on the TV. I also have New Japan on the iPad, which doesn't happen very often. Usually I'll have like New Japan on the TV, and I'll have WWE Network on the iPad, or vice versa. And sometimes I'll have like MLW on the iPad or the TV, another show on the other device or whatever. I have been known to have shows on the iPad, the TV, and the phone, just so you know. And I've got another TV up here too. I have yet to do the all four devices at one time. 4 devices. But you know what? Never say never, folks. So, but yeah, man. Like I said, I had some stuff in my mind, in my head, and I wanted to bang this stuff out real quick, and then I'm gonna hopefully be able to get some rest tonight. Got a big day ahead of me tomorrow. I got a huge vacation coming up, big family vacation, going out of the country. Going to be cool, going on a cruise. It's my 4th cruise. Is that right? 4th cruise, I think. Yeah. It's a blast, man. If you've never been on a cruise, it's well worth it. Anyway, enough of that stuff. So, great time to be a fan. As I said before, I watch as much of this stuff as I possibly can. If you guys follow me on social media, you follow me online, you know that I write about this stuff 8 days a week, it feels like sometimes. And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the show where you can find me and things like that. So, but yeah, best time in the world to be a fan. And I really think, talking about the territory days, man, I feel like the business has really come full circle. I feel like we've come back around to the point where we were in the 80s, where there's a lot of places to work, where guys can make good money, real money, and earn a good living. And, this is a good thing. This is a good thing for the business. We've got AEW starting up. In fact, we are less than 48 hours away now from Double or Nothing, AEW's first official pay-per-view event. It's a big thing. They've got TV starting on TNT in the fall of 2019. I can't wait for that. It's exciting, man. It's exciting times. And a lot of money behind that company, of course, the Khan family. Tony Khan putting a buttload of money into this. Guys putting their reputations, their careers, their livelihoods at stake. I mean, honestly, they are. And all for the sake of doing something new, doing something different. And as pro wrestling fans, you got to love that. Even if you're not familiar with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, you surely know who Chris Jericho is. And I'm telling you right now, if you're not familiar with the rest of the scene outside WWE, I implore you, for heaven's sake, open your mind, okay? Open your mind and get used to the idea that WWE is not the only game in town. They haven't been in quite some time. They never really have been, okay? I guess you could say they have been in terms of worldwide reach and, ticket sales and sort of dominating the industry as far as like from a global perspective. I guess you could say that 100%, but at the same time, they've never really been the only game in town. There's always been companies out there operating, a lot of them just flying under the radar. But in 2019, with the advent of streaming services, the internet's all over the place. I mean, you can't hide from the NWA, who's experiencing a company resurgence, which is just fantastic to watch. Because like I said, I was born and raised on NWA, Jack. I just love it. And I went to the Crockett Cup, took my kid, had a blast. I've rewatched that show probably a dozen times or better by now. I just had so much fun at that show. But the NWA is not flying under the radar anymore. Neither is Ring of Honor. They haven't in a long time. Impact Wrestling, God bless them, they're still going. And Impact's going to have its critics, and they probably will for a long time. Impact Wrestling needs a better TV home. I think we can all agree on that. But you can't deny that. Deny their presence. They're still going after, they're up to 15, 17 years now, I think, something like that. It's crazy. I mean, it's great. It's great. It's just crazy just to imagine that a company's been around that long in terms of this industry, and they're still going. How about the company that's been going for 47 years now? How about New Japan? New Japan is still churning out the hits, man, one after one after one. Right now, they're in the midst of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. I am watching, 2 nights ago and catching up on last night. So on the iPad, I've got Shingo Takagi versus Marty Scurll. And on the TV right now, I've got Bushi. It's just, like I said, man, it's a great time. It's a great time to be a fan. But, these companies that are still going, they're still going strong, and they're outperforming really just excelling far above what they were known for and what they were capable of to begin with. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that fans can find them. Fans, that this stuff is easily accessible. As I said before, streaming services are the norm now. The Fight TV app, it's just a great app. I mean, I've got my issues with it. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think it's a great way to get a little taste of a lot of different companies. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just one of those things, man, where it's like, if this is what you love, if this is what you are into right now, then you've got to be happy. You've absolutely got to be happy. And I'm telling you right now, again, folks, if you are just a WWE fan, do yourself a favor and explore these other companies. You just got to love it. It's just, like I said, man, it's a great time to be a fan. I got to tell you, I'm going to be on, as I said before, I'm going to be on vacation. And I only say that to say this. I'm not even going to be in the country when Double or Nothing goes down. I'll be on international waters, which means I'm not going to be able to watch the event live, which just disgusts me to no end because I really wanted to watch it live. I'll catch the replay when I get back home. I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers in the meantime. That's going to be hard, right? But the good thing is on the cruise, I'm not going to be using the internet all that much, if at all. So I'm not going to be able to see the fallout or the good or bad, positive or negative reviews or whatever, what have you. But That's a good thing for me, man. I'm gonna hopefully stay spoiler free within the next 10 days. So fingers crossed on that one, because I don't like spoilers, man. I've been writing about this stuff for a long time, and I just don't like spoilers. Sometimes it's part of the job, and I have to know. But if I have a choice and I don't have to know, I'd much rather not know, because I just like to watch. I just like to watch the show and just be entertained along with everyone else. You know what I mean? Going in with knowledge of what's going to happen beforehand. I mean, some guys love that stuff, and to me, I don't know if I can't say that it ruins it, but it just takes some of the mystique out of it for me. You know what I mean? This is how I feel. But, yeah, man, like I said, Double or Nothing is going to be huge. AEW's going to be going strong, hopefully. Chris Jericho's amped up, man. If you never listen to Chris's podcast, check that out for sure. He's talked about AEW till he's blue in the face, and he should. I mean, this is a very exciting time for him. Guy's 47 years old now, I think. Dude, he's just absolutely completely turned his career around, reinvented himself, man. He's, like I said, reinvented himself. It's crazy. I mean, the Chris Jericho you see today absolutely reminds you of the Chris Jericho during his heyday in WWE. It's not that it's two different people, but his mindset, his presentation, his look, his attitude, the way he goes about conducting business between the ropes. I mean, it does kind of feel like two separate guys. But, he doesn't change himself to the point of being unrecognizable, in my opinion. He changes to the point of, evolution is a good thing. Evolve or die, right? And that's kind of where he's at right now. And, that, like I said, man, that's a good thing. And we often get upset as fans, at veterans who just can't let it go, because we say, oh, God, they're going to do the same old thing over and over and over again. No one can say that about Chris. You know what I mean? No one can say that about Chris Jericho. He is his own man. He does his own thing. I think getting him on board with AEW, signing him from day one was a coup for that company. Even though he's friends with the guys running the place, of course, Cody and the Bucks, I still have to consider it a coup that he decided not to go back to WWE. There was an offer on the table. It's not that he wasn't happy, but Jericho's thing has always been, where do I go from here? What's in this for me? Not in terms of money, maybe, but more along the lines of, what can I do here creatively that's going to satisfy me? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. When you have that creative instinct, when you have that in your mind, in your soul, about, okay, I have to get out there and I have to create something and I have to be involved and I have to make a difference and I have to, constantly put my name out there. I'm going to tell you something, man, that's hard to let go of. And I know this is a very small comparison, just very small on my end of the spectrum. But as I said before, I write a lot. And on the nights that I don't write, because I've got something else going on in the rest of my life, or maybe I'm sick or whatever's going on, I miss it. I miss it a lot. And I feel like, God, man, I'm just phoning it in tonight. What's wrong with me? I need to get back on the keyboard like right now. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Over the next 10 days, I'm going to have the most fun. I'm going to be on the open water and just have a blast and go to these islands and visit the locals and shake people's hands and just see some of the sights and just have fun with the fam. That's what it's all about, right? But, dude, I'm going to be itching to get back behind the computer. I know I am. I just know it. And no, the laptop's not going with me, to anyone out there who's asking. So, yeah. But don't think I didn't think about it, because I totally did. But no, I'm not going to do it. Everybody relax. I'm not that much of a schmuck that I would just take work with me on vacation. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, man. A lot of other stuff going on right now. We could talk a little bit about WWE here. This doesn't have to be an AEW only specific podcast. We've talked about WWE a lot here on the show. Let's face it, man. WWE is still center of the universe, at least for right now. I mean, that's going to go up and down as AEW gets stronger or weaker, or whatever the case may be. Hopefully stronger. But we've got Super Showdown coming up, June 7th. Yes. And Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. I want to tell you folks something right now. I'm against the Saudi Arabia show. I know that sounds like, oh God, here he goes bashing WWE. It's not that at all. It's just the fact that, in my opinion, it's blood money. I've said that before here on the show multiple times, and I believe it. I firmly believe it. It's blood money. And supposedly WWE, the way they turn a profit in this quarter of the year, this quarter of their fiscal year, it is because of the shows they do in Saudi Arabia. They signed a 5-year deal with Saudi, so we're going into year number 2, right? And so we got 3.5 more years of this, folks. And it's just, I don't look forward to it at all. And there's several talents not going this time. Owens isn't going. Daniel's not going. Somebody else, I forget. Oh, Sami Zayn's not allowed to go. Jesus Christ. Okay, all right. So Aleister Black's not going. And, they shouldn't have to go. And kudos to them for speaking up and saying, look, I don't want to be a part of this. And they shouldn't be. And that's good for them. Because like I said before, man, it's blood money. Jamal Khashoggi was murdered last year. That's a big deal. You can't let that go. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if you're a wrestling fan, I don't care if you're just a WWE fan, folks. The fact that you're okay with this. And listen. Did someone in WWE have something to do with it? Well, obviously not. Don't be silly. Is WWE condoning it? Not outright, but listen. Continue to do business with a country that had an innocent man murdered. Okay? Dude, and going along with this, that is, in my mind, you're condoning it. To some degree, don't you think? Now, the deals have been signed, the contracts have been signed, the money's been made, the money's been paid, I assume. But dude, I get, again, I got a huge problem with this. WWE's always going to have a black eye. And they're going to have a black eye for any number of reasons. The Benoit thing, China before she got put in the Hall of Fame, the Owen Hart, the Attitude Era, steroids back in the day, and now Saudi Arabia. They're going to continue to have a black eye. Now, a lot of that comes from the fact that they are a publicly traded company. They're the biggest at what they do. They're the biggest one in the world, as far as pro wrestling is concerned, yes. It's to be expected that they're going to have moments of, God, what have they done now? Do you know what I mean? It's expected they're going to have those moments. I expect that. You should too. So you could hold that against them if you want to, I suppose. And, can't stop you. But let's just be fair about it, man. I mean, some of this stuff is well-deserved. Some of it maybe is not. Like I said, when you are in the public eye, you have a target. When you are the biggest dog in the yard, as they love to talk about, you do have a target painted on your forehead. And so, any little slip-up, whether it's big or small, warranted or not warranted, they are going to come after you. And you have to know that. Whether you're the company or the individual, you have to know that. So some of this stuff just comes on with the territory. They've toughened up by now, and hopefully they get that, right? Everyone, including Vince. But, a lot of this stuff, I'm sorry, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe not everything, okay? I'm not sitting here calling them the evil empire. I've used that term before, but just because I like to compare them to the Yankees and, McMahon to Steinbrenner, he'd probably like that comparison. But, nah, man, some of it to me is well-deserved. But this Saudi Arabia thing, I believe, is the black mark for this new generation of fans. For me growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was the steroid era. That was the black eye. That black eye transitioned to the stuff that happened during the Attitude Era, which transitioned to the events mentioned previously. Excuse me. And yeah, man. So as I said, I think every generation of WWE fans has a black mark, and I think that the generation today coming up, the Saudi Arabia shows are going to be the black mark for them. And it's a shame. It doesn't have to be this way. But the company, like I said, they're in bed with this government, Saudi Arabia government. Whether they want that distinction or not, they got it. Okay. So, it is what it is. We don't have to focus on that entirely. As I said, I'm not here to bash WWE or anyone else. Okay. But WWE's got some interesting stuff going on for sure. They're moving to Fox. SmackDown Live's moving to Fox the fall of 2019. They've got $250 billion over the next 5 years. Yes. I mean, wow. That's some money, huh? Right? Crazy. Back the money truck up, fool, Ratings are down, which is nothing new. They've been struggling with ratings for a while now. Some, podcasters make a great big deal of it. Other podcasters say it doesn't matter. There's a few podcasters in particular, writers/podcasters, if you want to call them writers, who make a real big deal about this doesn't matter. And it's funny to me, just as a side note here, it's real funny to me how most guys that grew up watching WWE and that's the wrestling they knew, they are more apt to defend the company and Vince McMahon against any and all criticism. And all you have to do really is just say, oh, I didn't like Raw. And all of a sudden you get a tweet, oh, really? Really, Tom? What makes you know everything, pal? And you're like, oh, you're a WWE fan. Yikes. Okay. And listen, I'm a fan of who I'm a fan of. I know who I like and who I don't care for all that much. I know what companies I enjoy, what companies I don't really get into that much, right? So yeah, of course, I've got some favorites. I'd be lying if I sat here and said I didn't. But dude, to me, in my opinion, there's got to be a time and place to air your views. And if you're trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? If you're trying to be call it down the middle, if you're trying to be unbiased toward either side, especially if you're a writer doing this stuff for a living, dude, you have to, like I said, you have to call it down the middle. You can't take one side or the other. So if you constantly bash WWE, it's going to become obvious, man, this guy's so anti-Vince McMahon. But by the same token, if you constantly defend WWE, well, that's the exact opposite is going to be said. And guess how much credit you get on either side? Guess how much credibility, I should say, you get on either side? Zero, Jack, zero. So that's a big deal. And, it's just food for thought, man. That's all it is. Something to think about. I know as a reader, I get turned off when I read a column that completely bashes one company or another. If the column is filled with facts and it doesn't take that slant, it just says, hey, here's the facts, here's what I think, and here's what you can decide for yourself, which is how I try to write. That's how I've always tried to write. That's become my voice. If anyone is ever out there listening, has ever read my stuff, you know that that's become my voice. That's how I write. I present as many sides of the issue as I possibly can. I tell you what I think, and at the end of the day, I leave it up to your interpretation. Whatever you want to believe or think about it is entirely up to you. And to me, maybe there is a better way. I don't know. I don't think there's a better way for me. I think that's the way that my voice is developed, and I think that's what fits me and suits me and suits what I'm trying to get across. So there you go. But enough about me. So, what else is going on out there? We've got some friction and some heat between Superstars and NWA and Ring of Honor. We've known that for a while. A lot of it started at the Crockett Cup between the Briscoes and the NWA. They were on an anti-NWA tirade. And, the Guerrillas of Destiny are on an anti-Ring of Honor tirade. And, there's justification on both sides, to be fair. But, we'll see where it goes. I am a big believer in, real life heat, and it definitely has a place in the ring if it's done correctly, if both sides are good with it, and it's not, stepping on anyone's toes or hurting anyone. Like when I say hurt, I mean like, hurting a family member or hurting someone emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sound all soft here on you folks. I mean, it's pro wrestling. It's supposed to be, tough, hard, mean, and nasty, as mean as it wants to be, right? But, again, the only way to justify getting a real life heat and taking that heat into the ring or to a storyline, in my opinion, is not just to get ratings and dollars. I mean, obviously maybe that's part of it, right? But the other part of it is everyone has to be on the same page. If there's three guys involved and two of them have a problem with it, hell, if one guy has a problem out of the three, then maybe that angle doesn't need to happen. Do you see what I'm saying? I just think it's too big of a deal to act like it doesn't matter. Again, please ignore the clicking as you hear it. My apologies. But yeah, man. So again, it has its place. But yeah, like I said, man, heat between Ring of Honor, well, sort of a trifecta there: Ring of Honor, New Japan, NWA, and. And I've talked about NWA. I talk about a lot here on the show, and I'm going to continue to do it. I want the NWA to get as strong as possible. Now, Billy Corgan's got money. I think we all know that, right? Billy Corgan's got some money. But Billy Corgan's not put every penny he has into the NWA, and with good reason. Not because he doesn't want to. I'm sure if Billy had the option of, hey, wait a minute, you mean that by putting a ton of money into this, it's going to guarantee we succeed? I'll do it. There's no guarantee of that at all. In fact, he's been vocal about Tony Khan. He said it very respectfully, and it wasn't really criticizing. But he's basically said, look, we've watched what they're doing from a distance, and if that's working for them, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think that's the long-term answer, is to pump that much money, fuel that much money into a company that hasn't even started yet. And he makes some very, very valid points. So, Corgan's been modest with the money that he's put into the NWA, and I think so far it's worked. The NWA is still going. They're gaining respect. A lot of the casual viewers or diehard NWA fans that maybe left When WCW shut its doors, it looks as though they're coming back. That's a big deal. They've got a top-notch world champion, Nick Aldis, who hardly ever gets mentioned in the conversation of best in the world, and he freaking well should. In my opinion, he's one of the best in the world. I believe he's in the top 5. And, depending on who you want to talk to, who you want to ask, this is my show, so I'm going to tell you what I think, right? To me, Okada's number 1, followed by AJ Styles, followed by Seth Rollins, followed by Nick Aldis. Aldis could maybe go above Seth Rollins. And, as far as the 4th or as far as the 5th spot goes, man, that's a tough one right now. I don't know, man. If you're going based off Super Juniors right now, you might have to say Will Ospreay is maybe the 5th guy. The 5th guy, in my opinion, is like the swing spot in that conversation where it can just go to. It could change at any moment. To me, it's low enough. Not low. Number 5 is not low. You get it right, but it's down far enough from 1 where it can change, and you wouldn't be disrespecting the guy that you gave number 5 to. It's just my take. But let's see what else is going on here. The news broke that Straight Up Steve Austin is set to premiere on August. I think it's August 12th on USA Network. A new talk show, different kind of format for Stone Cold. Fans have been wanting Steve Austin back on TV, on WWE programming, on a full-time capacity for years. It's never going to happen. He's moved on with his life, man. He doesn't really need it anymore. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like the veterans and the guys who are lifers and been in this business for a long time, I mean a long time, it's their life, it's their livelihood, it's what they know, it's what they want to be a part of. It's hard to get it out of their veins. And I'm not saying that it's out of Steve Austin's mind or heart. Obviously, it's still there. But it's not there to the point of he can't live without it. He's closed the book on it. He did what he wanted to do. He did everything he wanted to do. I don't know that he has any regrets, but he shouldn't. You know what I mean? He had an amazing run and a great career. Never be duplicated again, ever. I mean, ever, dude, ever. Okay. But yeah, move on with your life, man. Go do something else. Go do what you want to do now. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's done since he retired and walked away from the ring. So good for him. Let's see. Dolph Ziggler's back. He's going to work Kofi, WWE champion at Super Showdown. Brock Lesnar is the new Mr. Money in the Bank. Holy cow. How many people saw that coming? Not I, said the cat. Crazy. But you know what? WWE has tied their horses to Brock Lesnar, man. Or maybe I should say that Brock Lesnar is the one pulling the wagon. He's the thoroughbred pulling the wagon. WWE is all about the guy, and you can get mad at that if you want to. Silly, in my opinion, to get mad at it. I don't know what the point of that is. And, frustrated. Yeah, I was frustrated for a long time. I wrote about for the past, 7 years now about how he comes and goes as he pleases, and it's nonsense, and WWE should do better by the guys that are there all the time. Guess what? It's the hype. It's hype, man. It's all hype. At this point, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't ruin my day or affect my life, no matter what they choose to do. And if you look real closely, if you're honest with yourself, as a fan, as a writer, as a podcaster, whatever you are, even if you're just a casual fan, if you really are honest with yourself, it's not going to change your life or affect you either. So no, there's no point getting upset at it. I mean, I could. What's the point in that? There's just not really one, okay? So yeah, I just try to go with the flow, man. But, as I said before, I just wanted to get something quick out there. I was feeling a little talky tonight. I wanted to get some stuff out there. I want to remind you real quick of who I am, where I come from, and where you can find me. I am can always be seen on ProWrestling.com. Much thanks to Mike Killam for allowing me the honor of writing on there. I say honor because I really dig the website. They've been around for a little while, and they're respected. I respect Mike quite a bit, and it's good stuff. It's a pleasure to be associated with those guys. But you can see me on ProWrestling.com. I write there 3 nights a week. Typically on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday nights. That's where you can find me. Just come hang out, bro. Say hey. You can also find me, of course, on WrestlingRumors.net. I'm on there 2 days a week. And as I said before, I do the podcast on Fridays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live on Facebook. Wrestling Rumors on Facebook Live. There you go, pal. I'm also on the floor seat, and much apologies to the guys at the floor seat. It's so hard for me to get back there. It's not for want of trying. Not for lack of trying. I do want to be more of a presence on there. So if you go see my stuff on the floor seat on the Sports Daily, you may be going, wow, dude, it's been like a month since you've written anything. As that's the truth. I'm sure it's been at least a month. Again, it's not because I don't want to. It's just, man, life happens, bro. You know what I mean? Life happens. I try to get back as much as I can. And also, I'm on the Chairshot 1 day a week. Only 1 column a week on the Chairshot. But, there again, happy to be writing for those guys as well. My website, my production company's website, I should say, boinkstudios.com. It's not been updated in a while. There's a good reason for that. I'm in the process of revamping that sucker, giving it a whole new look, trying to update it and whatnot. So please stay tuned for that. You're listening to the show here. This is the flagship show of Boink Studios. This is the one that we've been going the longest with. I'm very proud of the show. Hope you enjoy it. I'm having a blast doing it. Always have. It's my baby. You know what I mean? This show's my baby. It's my pride and joy. You can also check out another show under the Boink Studios umbrella. It is actually Tom Clark's 30-minute fun show. Tom Clark's 30-minute fun show. It features myself and my 10-year-old Wesley, and we're on the road. And I don't know why I never call it Tom Clark's 30-minute road show. I so should have. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We have fun. And honestly, if this show really is about nothing more than just getting sort of an audio diary of my kid as he grows up, and hopefully we can be a little entertaining as we go along. I try to keep it fun. He's a funny little kid, and he has his moments of being very clever and very hysterical. So if you haven't checked out 30-Minute Fun Show, please do so. I think that's all I'm going to do, man. I need some sleep. We're driving to Florida tomorrow. I know what you're thinking. You're going to drive from North Carolina to Florida? Have you lost your mind? Airfare, baby. I'm saving that cash. Saving that cash, man. Had to save it. I blew it all the rest of on the freaking cruise. So there you go. All right, that's all I got for you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out. And as I said before, man, if you never listen or watch us live on Facebook on Wrestling Rumors on Fridays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live, please do so. Thanks for checking out this show. Subscribe on iTunes and Google Play, and that's all I got for you. We will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.